Hello everyone, welcome to free classes for everyone. Today we will discuss about the second lesson of our past. The title of the lesson is From Hunting, Gathering to Growing Food. It means how the people changed the way of getting food from hunting and gathering process to growing their own food. The earliest people, why were they on the move? Why the people were moving from one place to another? How the people used to be? They used to be hunters and gatherers. Hunters, gatherers, these words mean the way how they are getting their food for survival. Based on the way how they are getting the food, we will be terming them like hunters, gatherers, okay? The reasons why they moved from one place to another. The first reason is in search of food. When they live in a particular place, they will be eating the food which is available there. Like it may be the plant products or the animal products which are available in that place, they will be eating that. After some days, the food is complete. Like the available food in that place is complete. Then they have to move to another place in search of food. Because in the earlier place where they used to live, all the food was finished by them. Next reason, following the animals. The animals will be moving from one place to another place in search of their food. Some animals will be eating another small animals, or some animals will be eating grass. So the animals will be moving in search of their food. So the people will be following these animals because they want these animals as their food. So they will be moving in search of these animals. Third reason is seasonal fruits. All the fruits will not be available year long. Some fruits will be available only in particular seasons. So they will be moving from one place to another place in search of different kinds of fruits. The fourth reason is water. Water will be available in the rivers which will be flowing all the year long. But few rivers will not be flowing year long. They may be drying up. Okay. So during the dry seasons, people used to move from one place to another place in search of water because water is the essential thing for their living. Why do we know about this? How do we know about these people? How we got the information about these people? Archaeologists found some of the things hunters, gatherers made and used. The things which were made by them and used by them, based on that information is gained by the archaeologist. We got some information about these people. Okay, let's see some of the things which were made and used by them. If we consider the tools, they are made up of stone, wood and bone. Among these, stone survived for a long period of time. Okay, why the stone tools were used by them? To scrape. What they will be scraping? They will be scraping the barks of the trees or the hides of the animals, means the skin of the animals. For removing the skin of the animals, they will be using these tools. Or to chop the fruits and roots. If they get some fruits for eating them, they have to chop them. For that, they will be using these tools made up of stone. And to dig. When they have to store something underground, or they have for any other purpose, if they want to dig the ground, then they will be using these stone tools. And to stitch. To stitch what? They will be using these tools to stitch the cloth. Means it's not made of any material. The dresses which they will be wearing are made up of the skin of the animals. To stitch those skin of the animals to wear like the clothes, they will be using these tools. Okay. Here in the picture you can see the different kinds of tools which are used for different purposes. Based on the purpose, the size or the shape of the tools will be described. In the next picture, if you see here, one man is holding a spear. On the above there is a sharp edge. Okay. So they will be using these stone tools. Like for the wood or bone, they will be attaching this stone to the handles and they will be using like spears. Choosing a place to live in. How do they choose a particular place which is good for them to live in? As I have told you in the previous slide that stones are very useful for their survival. So definitely they will be selecting a place where they will be getting good quality stones, from out of which they will be making different kinds of tools for different purposes. So for that reason, they always used to choose the place where they can get good quality of stone. So stone played an important role for them to choose a place to live in. One place which is mentioned in this lesson is Bhimbetka. It is in Madhya Pradesh. It is an old site with caves and rock shelters. Rock shelters means the place where the people used to live in that stone age. Okay, they used to live in these rocks and caves. Like it is a home for them. Where is this Bhimbetka? These rock shelters are close to the Narmada Valley. In yesterday's class, I have shown you where the Narmada River is. The other thing mentioned in the lesson is rock painting. Many caves have paintings on the walls. Okay. The caves which were found, they were having paintings, at different types of paintings, and mostly they were painting the wild animals on the walls. We can find these paintings in Madhya Pradesh and southern Uttar Pradesh. Okay. If you can see here, these are some of the paintings from the caves of Madhya Pradesh. Finding out about fire. Okay. How we knew that the Stone Age people know about the fire. Okay. The evidences were found in the Kannul caves. The Kannul caves is also mentioned in this lesson. Okay. If you can see the picture down, it is one of the caves in Kannul. Okay. How they knew that the people were aware of fire? Because traces of ash were found there. Okay. That suggests that the people know about fire. They used to fire. They might have used for different purposes. They may be using that for roasting the meat for their food. They may be using the fire as a source of lighting for them, or to frighten the animals or wild animals which may be attacking them. So to frighten them, for that purpose they might have used the fire. Names and dates. Okay. Paleolithic. It is a combination of two Greek words. Okay. Paleo means old, lithos means stone. So it is the old Stone Age. Okay. Again, this Paleolithic age is divided into three sections like lower, middle and upper Paleolithic. The difference in the stages is the use of the tools. Okay. When the days passed, the advancement in the tools means from the blunt to sharp, from the big to small ones. For every single purpose, they started designing different kinds of tools for them. Okay. If you see the period of this age, it extends from 2 million years ago to 12,000 years ago. If you see our history of the Stone Age, of the past history, 99% of our history is in this period. Okay. Next is Mesolithic. This is also known as Middle Stone Age. From this age, environmental changes started to begin. Okay, means changes started from this age, from the Mesolithic age. The period is 12,000 years ago to 10,000 years ago. Here the stone tools which were used were microlith. It means they were very small in size. They even used to use the older tools which were used in the Paleolithic age. Along with those tools, they started using small tools, means microlith, which were in very sharp and very small in size. Next stage is Neolithic. Okay, this age starts from 10,000 years ago. Here also we can find advancement in their way of living, in the tools they were using and the other objects which we were using. Here if you see the map, this map is also given in this lesson in the textbook. These are the Kannul caves in Andhra Pradesh, which we have already discussed. This is the location of the Kannul caves, and the other location in the Madhya Pradesh which we have discussed, Bhimbetka. This is the Narmada river, and near to the valley we can find this Bhimbetka. And if you can see the left hand side corner, there we can find this place Meherghar. This is also important place. We will be discussing about this also in this class. Here if you find the index, you can see here they have mentioned about different sites like Paleolithic, Neolithic, Megalithic, and they have given here in the map. Okay. Next, a changing environment. As I have told you, from the Mesolithic age there is a change in the environment. It means there are major changes started to take place in the climate of the whole world. Okay, in the whole world climate there were changes which started. How it changed? It started becoming warm. Okay, the climatic conditions started becoming warm. When the climate changed to warm, then there was development of grasslands. When there are more number of grasslands, the animals which were feeding on the grasslands also started growing in number. Okay, like deer and many other animals which were grass eating, they started growing in their number. People started thinking of herding and rearing of animals. Instead of going and hunting the animals, if we grow the animals for ourselves, then we can have them, we can use them whenever we need. We don't have to always go and hunt for the animals. This was the idea started in the people. Okay, so they started herding, they started domesticating the animals. And the other thing is fishing. Fishing also became important. The beginning of farming and herding. How actually the farming or the herding section started, we will discuss here. As I told you, when the climate conditions became warmer, more grass started growing. Okay, there were many types of grasses which were bearing grains like wheat, barley, rice, which were growing naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. It's not like it was growing in a particular place, and it was not like anyone growing them. They were naturally growing in different parts. Okay, then when they were growing in different parts, people, man and woman, both used to collect those grains. They used to consume the grains, and they even used to store the grains for the next for latter use. Okay, by this process they started learning about when they will be getting these grains, when is the next time the grains will be ripened. They started studying the whole cycle about the growth of the grains. Then they started thinking like even we can grow these grains by storing some of the grains for future. And in this way the farming began. Next, people started attracting and taming animals. As I had told you, as they have seen more number of grass eating animals are growing, they thought that we don't have to hunt them. Let us attract the animals. Where people used to have their shelters, they used to keep some food for the animals to attract them. When the animals come to eat those food, then they used to catch those animals to eat them. That is the way of attracting the animals. Second thing is taming animals. It was like they are growing or herding their own animals. Which kind of animal was first tamed? The first animal tamed was dog. Slowly after dog, they started taming many other animals like sheep, goat, cattle, pig, etc., which are gentle. How they choose the animals which they can easily tame? If the animal is gentle and if it don't have more sharp teeth and if it don't have sharp horns, based on these features they will be selecting the animals, and they think that okay, these animals are not harmful to us. We can tame these animals. Even if they come to our shelter, they will not be harmful for us. In that way, they used to decide and select the animals. How they used to select which kind of grains they can grow? They used to see which grains are disease resistant, like which doesn't catch diseases easily, and which they can store for a longer period of time, which they can regrow. In that way, they used to select which kind of grains they have to cultivate again. Okay. In this way, they became farmers and herders. A new way of living. Storing grains. As I have told you, the process of growing any crop from the seed is not a small thing. It is a very long process. So whenever they sow some seeds, they have to wait for a long period for the plant to grow and the grains to come, and they have to keep on watering the plants in the whole process. Once they get the grains, they have to store some grains for the future use, and again they have to store some grains as seeds for the next time when they want to cultivate. So for this process, what they started making? They started making clay pots. They started weaving baskets. They dig pits in the ground to store these grains. These are the different ways how they used to store their grains. Storing animals. It means if you grow a particular animal, it will be multiplying. Like if you grow a sheep, it will be giving birth to babies. Again, they will be growing in number. In that way, when you tame any animal, it will be growing in number. They will be providing us milk and meat when we need them. So in this way, they started storing animal as a source of food for them when they need them. How do we know, like the first farmers or the herders, where they were? How did we knew them? The first farmers and the herders were found in northwest, in the Kashmir region, in the east and in South India. What are the evidences for this? Scientists found there like bones of the animals. Based on the bones of the animals, they decided that these particular animals were tamed or these animals were eaten. And they were even found some grains, okay, grains which were burnt. They might have burnt purposefully or accidentally, but based on the grains which were burnt, they have decided what kind of grains they used to grow. Towards a settled life. Okay, as we have seen in the previous class and in the first slides, that earlier they used to be hunters, then they became they were gatherers, hunters, and then they started growing their own food. When they started growing their own food, now they don't have to keep on moving to another place in search of food, because where they are residing, they can happily grow their own food. Okay, so what are the traces we found about this settled life? Archaeologists found traces of huts and houses at some sites. Okay, these are some of the evidences which are given below. Bujahom, which is in present Kashmir, they found pit house dug into the ground. Okay, and we can even see steps leading inside the house. Okay, it's like an underground house. Why they used to build such kind of house? It is to protect themselves from the cold weather. Cooking hearths both inside and outside the hearths. This tells us that they used to cook their food inside and outside based on the weather conditions. Stone tools. We found many stone tools of the Neolithic age. How we can say that they are Neolithic? Because they are very fine cutting edge, and we even found some mortars and pestles which were used for grinding the grains. Earthen pots. Some of the earthen pots cooking, and few were even decorated which were used for storing grains. They began weaving clothes. In the earlier slides I told that they used to wear the skin of the animals. But here they started wearing clothes of different materials like cotton. A closer look living and dying in Merghar. Okay, I have already mentioned about this place in the map. It is near to the Bolan place, and why it is important? It is an important route to Iran at that time. Okay. First, if you see few key points about this place, the first point is it is one of the places where people learn to grow barley and wheat, rear sheep and goats for the first time. It means it is the place where first wheat and barley was grown and animals like sheep and goats were domesticated. It is one of the earliest villages. Many animal bones were found here like deer, pig, sheep, goat. What we can know based on these findings? Based on this, we know what kind of animals they used to eat, what kind of animals they used to tame. Remains of square or rectangular houses. We can even see square or rectangular houses, and most of the houses used to have more than 4 rooms, and some of the rooms were used as storage purpose for storing the grains or anything. For the storage purpose, they used to use most of the rooms. And what else we found? Several burial sites were found here. Okay. As I have told on the heading, it's for living and dying in that place. How the dying procedure used to be? After some person is dead, he was respected by the relatives of that person, and he was like how they used to, from the place of the burial sites, it was like the information was like they used to believe life after death. Okay, and in one instance it was even seen like in one burial site, along with the dead person, they even buried some goats because they believed that it will be used as a food in the next world. For that purpose, with the dead person, they even buried some goats. These are the beliefs in that time. Okay. If you again come back to the map, this is the place Merghar which we are discussing now. It is on the northwest of India. Okay. So in today's class, we have learnt about how people were hunters and gatherers and how they slowly started cultivating their own food and how they settled their lives by building their own houses and how they made changes in their way of wearing, like from the skin to wearing clothes of different materials, and what are the practices made by those people. Thank you.